Hey everyone, my name is Olaf, and today I'll teach you how you can render your own background images in Blender using the HDRI image add-on. I will also show you how you can add shadows to HDRI images so that you can save a lot of render time. As always, it's going to be quick and easy, so let's get started. Okay, so here we have a blend file that is available at the Blender Foundation website, and I'm going to turn this blend file into an HDRI image, which we can use as the background image. So let's start off by opening the HDRI Maker add-on, and then I'm going to go down to the Save menu, which we use to create HDRI images, and then we'll set it to Panorama 360. And I will set the resolution to 8K. You can also change the tile size inside the add-on. And then I'm going to create a new folder for this HDRI. I'm just going to call it Tut. And then we can add the 360 cam. And then press G to grab and S to scale. And this sphere will function as a 360 camera. So let's set it up around here, and then give the HDRI a name. I'm just going to call it here HDRI, and then panorama save, which starts the render. And after a few hours of rendering, we have the image and the HDRI. So let's open a new file and take a look at the HDRI image. So new, general, don't save, and then press X to delete the default cube. And then I'm going to press N and open the add-on. So let's go to the HDRI Maker. And then we can open the Tut folder and select the HDRI we just created, and then click Add to add the HDRI. And as you can see, when we go into rendered view, we now have the scene as an HDRI. And next I'm going to show you how you can add shadows to objects in HDRI scenes using this add-on. So let's start off by saving. Just going to give the folder a name and then save the blend file. And then let's start off by selecting the light and turn it into a sun and set the strength to 15. And then I can press R twice to rotate the sun freely, and then press Shift A and add a monkey. And then I'm going to press S to scale, and then press R twice to rotate the monkey freely. And then I'm going to add the subdivision surface modifier to add additional polygons, and then add some smooth shading as well. And then next we're going to add a plane. So press Shift A and add a plane, and press G and set to grab it on the Z-axis. And as you can see, we get shadows. And now we're going to use the add-on so that we get shadows for the HDRI as well. So add the shadow catcher, and then we can adjust the range. We can also change the shadow color. So by playing around with the different settings, we can make it look like the object is part of the scene, even though it's just an HDRI image. And then press R twice to rotate the sun freely. And as you can see, the shadow moves. We can also change the number of samples to increase the quality of the render, as well as changing the cube size of the shadows. And we can can also play around with the materials and make it fit into the scene. So something like this. Also make sure that the object is placed right above the plane. So press G to grab. And as you can see, the shadow looks a lot better and more realistic. Okay, so now I'm going to delete this monkey and add some more complex objects to the scene and show that even complex objects can be added to the HDRI image and still look like the image is part of the scene. So let's import the dancing girl, and you can sign up for free at Maximo if you want these characters. So I'm just going to open the .fbx file, and then let's go into rendered view and press S to scale. And I'm also going to grab the object on the Z-axis. So press numpad 1 to go to the front view. And as you can see, we also get shadows for animations. And I'm going to increase the strength of the light. Right now it's set to 2, but I'm going to set it to 15 or 10. And so far everything looks fine. I think I'm going to rotate the armature a bit. So press R, then set to rotate it on the Z-axis. And then I'm going to set up the camera. So press numpad 0 to look through the camera. And I'm going to grab it a little bit backwards. And as you can see, the size depends on the perspective. So if you want to change the perspective without changing the size, you can adjust the focal length. And you can also animate the focal length if you want to move the camera without changing the perspective size of the object inside the HDRI. And the HDRI Maker is available in the link in the description, and it also includes a lot of HDRI images that you can easily add to the scene. And to install the add-on, you just need to go to Preferences, and then Add-ons, and then Install, and select the zip file for the add-on. And then once the add-on is installed, you just add the zip files for the HDRI images that are included in the add-on. So these. And then you also select a folder for the HDRI images that you make. And then you just scroll downwards and install the add-on. And that's it for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it, and more tutorials coming soon.